ABC 10 News at 7 starts now.
Dozens of migrant teenagers being housed at the San Diego Convention Center have tested positive for COVID-19. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. The girls arrived over the weekend. Our ABC 10 News anchor Vanessa Van Hefty spoke with some lawmakers who say this may not have been the best place for the shelter.
The San Diego Convention Center, converted into an emergency intake site for up to 1,450 teenage girls.
And so when you're talking about children that show up on your doorstep and need help, that you don't turn them away.
El Cajon Mayor Bill Wells says all children need to be taken care of regardless of the circumstances, but it raises serious questions about the process.
Starting with President Biden and his executive orders and how he just changed border policy without going through Congress or any of the other checks and balances that we see at our federal government. It also seems that we're doing the same thing in San Diego.
There was no discussion, he says, no public input, no vote, arguing taxpayers who paid for the convention center deserve a say.
People have a right to know and ask the question, perhaps was there a better place?
Health and Human Services confirms all girls were tested for COVID upon arrival. There are 33 positive COVID cases, 27 known cases arrived separately, and 6 more tested positive on arrival, but there are no serious cases. Republican Congressman Darrell Issa saying the opening of the convention center isn't a long-term plan or even a short-term solution. It's proof positive that although only 2 months old, the Biden administration has caused a historic crisis on our border.
If we start circumventing that and saying that those kind of processes no longer mean anything, I think we've changed the way we do democracy.
Wells calls this a highly charged political situation, causing deeper rifts.
I think we need to treat each other with love and respect and try to work through these problems.
Vanessa Van Hefty, ABC 10 News.
Health and Human Services says the girls with COVID, they were brought on a separate plane. Their intake was in a separate area, and they are being housed in a separate section of the convention center. All the girls will be tested every 3 days. Meantime, another 250 girls are arriving tonight.
The county reported 290 new cases today, while our test positivity rate rose to 4%. No new COVID deaths were reported, which is typical for a Monday, so that number stands at just over 3,500. The vaccine superstation at the Del Mar Fairgrounds is closing again because of a vaccine shortfall. Scripps Health, which runs the site, announced today it will be closed Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday because of the low number of doses delivered last week. Impacted patients should be rescheduled automatically through the MyTurn online system.
Of course, there are a lot of other places to get a shot. In fact, 300 doses of the vaccine will be available this week without an appointment. A one-day clinic will be held Wednesday from 9:30 to 3:30 at the Sherman Heights Community Center on Island Avenue. The shots will be given on a first-come, first-served basis. People must bring proof that they live in the area, such as an ID or utility bill. And 2 new clinics are opening this week at the North Inland First United Methodist Church in Escondido and the Mountain View Educational Cultural Complex. Both sites will be open Tuesday through Saturday from 9:30 to 3:30, and appointments, they are required at both.
The recent incidents of violence against the Asian American Pacific Islander community may be driving down vaccination rates among that group. County data for those 65 and older shows the Black community has the lowest vaccination rate, followed by Asian Pacific Islanders at 55%. A UCSD professor says some of those people may be afraid to leave their homes.
We're concerned that a lot of the elderly Asian Americans are fearful of recent waves of anti-Asian violence and racism.
Language is another huge barrier. Asian American is an umbrella term encompassing people from many different countries. So getting information to non-English speakers can be a real challenge.
Middle and high school students in Carlsbad Unified, they are back in class 5 days a week. That new full-time schedule started today. Some students had already been coming back as part-time as a part of a hybrid model. The district says it will continue to follow health guidelines on campus, including wearing face coverings and social distancing. Students not comfortable returning yet can remain on distance learning for now. And the Sycuan Casino Resort is reopening its outdoor pool venue. The Retreat Pool and Cabanas will be open daily for hotel guests and a limited number of visitors who must make a reservation. casino itself is also open with safety protocols. And you can stay on top of any new developments with coronavirus by downloading the 10 News app. A free version is available in the App Store.
An early warning system is being proposed for San Diego's coastal bluff collapses. 3 women were killed in Encinitas in 2019 when a block of sandstone fell on them while sunbathing. As ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco explains, bluff failures are a constant threat.
It's a picture-perfect beach day in Del Mar. The sun is out, and so are the signs warning people to stay away from the cliffs. Still, Monday morning, surfers walk dangerously close to the bluffs. Others set up their umbrellas directly underneath. Harvey Oringer has lived near the bluffs for decades.
It, of course, makes me nervous, but by the same token, I don't think you could stop people from enjoying the beauty of nature here.
A reminder of why he gets nervous can be seen from this 10 News drone video. A large chunk of the bluffs fell last month just south of 4th. Repairs are ongoing. Assemblymember Tasha Berner Horvath is pushing a bill to set aside $2.5 million for Scripps Institution of Oceanography to study why the cliffs collapse and ideally come up with some type of warning system. Mark Zumberg is a Scripps geophysicist.
So we're using technologies that weren't available a few years ago. And we hope that by applying those technologies, we can really understand what happens.
Oringer is skeptical.
I'm not optimistic that there could be a warning system, and I think we'll see a lot more tragedy if we think that is the solution.
Zumberg admits they can't say for sure.
Hopefully there are some indicators, but we don't really know yet until we start looking carefully.
If the bill is approved, Scripps would start the research at the end of the year. The study expected to last up to 5. Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
The state is once again trying to place a notorious sexual predator into San Diego County. The California Department of State Hospitals is recommending Douglas Badger be placed in a home on Horizon Hills Drive in unincorporated El Cajon. In 2014, the state proposed releasing Badger into a home in Campo. Despite protests from residents there, he ended up withdrawing his petition for release. A virtual hearing on this new placement will be held April 20th. The public can send in comments through April 9th. We have all of the contact information on 10news.com.
The future of the former sports arena land in the Midway District is in limbo tonight. The city confirmed to ABC 10's reporter Jennifer Kastner that negotiations with the commercial developer were halted because the land may need to go towards affordable housing.
An uncertain fate now for the iconic Pechanga Arena, formerly known as the Sports Arena, and the nearly 50 acres of land it sits on. Monday, the city confirmed that formal discussions to lease the land to a potential developer, Brookfield Properties, were put on hold. Last summer, the city announced Brookfield's concept of turning the Midway District site into a new arena surrounded by parks, shopping, and housing. The reason for the sudden halt in negotiations has to do with questions over whether the land has to be offered to affordable housing developers first, according to state regulations.
It's a big site. Land like that is not available for the most part in the city, especially in a location like that. So it's a big opportunity.
The issue has to do with what's called the Surplus Land Act, or SLA. The act aims to produce more affordable homes by prioritizing the use of surplus local public land for affordable home developers. The act previously applied to land that's just for sale, not land that's up for lease. Brookfield was planning to lease the land from the city, but the city says the act was recently updated to also apply to land that's up for lease. If that's the case, priority might be given to affordable housing developers.
We need affordable housing so badly, and tools like the Surplus Land Act are there so that we can maximize our public assets for the public good.
Jennifer Kastner, ABC 10 News.
The city says it is waiting on the state for clarification on whether the act will prohibit the transaction with Brookfield Properties.